Hey guys, welcome back. We have a video here that is subscriber suggested, and it is from Ceasefire Now. It's why Britain is nearly impossible to invade. I've actually seen a couple of these. I don't know that it was from the same person, but some that were like America-based ones. Actually, while watching some British reactors, so I found those really interesting, and so I can't wait to see this one. Really good suggestion. So I will link this video in the description as usual. So if you haven't done so, go ahead and check out Ceasefire Now if you enjoy their video. Um, and then also, I will have some links also in the description. One of how you can support the channel here on YouTube. There are actually two ways. One is by a one-time donation, which you can do either through Buy Me a Coffee, which is in the description, or if you scroll down under this particular video, you can actually click these three dots, and there's actually an option here of thanks. And if you do that, then you could do, like I said, a one-time donation, or there will be a link in the description as well of how you can actually become a member of the channel. So then you'll be on here. Well, dang it. Oh, I've got this thing open. All right. You can become a member of the channel. So you'll do like a paid monthly, and it gives you extra access to the channel so that you can actually be able to get videos and see them before the rest of the public does, because I tend to do videos a couple of days in advance, but you'll be able to see them before anybody else, which is pretty nice. And comment and let me know, because I'll usually see that before, obviously, it starts pouring in. Also, there will be a link to Patreon, and it is growing substantially, so I want to thank you guys for jumping over there and checking it out. Tons of British episodes. Irish show just finished Father Ted. I think we're going to be starting It Crowd this week over there, which is super exciting. We're doing Friday Night Dinner. Still doing some Black Adder here and there. Did the In-Betweeners movie, the whole In-Betweeners series. Actually, both In-Betweeners movies. But if you haven't done so, go check it out. There's a ton over there that you can actually view for free. So anyway, now that I got that out of the way, let's go ahead and check this video out.
Great empire in Europe has dreamed of it. Spain, France, Nazi Germany, even the superpowers of the modern age. And every one of them ran into the same brutal truth. Britain is not just an island. Britain is a trap built by geography, hardened by history, and defended by forces no invasion fleet has ever beaten. You can cross deserts, break armies, and burn continents, but you do not cross the channel and live long enough to tell the story. Because the moment an invasion force points itself at Britain, it enters a kill zone shaped by savage maritime weather, fatally narrow choke points, and a naval doctrine that has spent 500 years specializing in one thing: killing anything that tries to land. The English Channel has swallowed armadas, drowned armies, and destroyed the ambitions of 3 continents. Even modern technology hasn't made Britain easier to invade. It has made it mathematically impossible. Before the first soldier even touches the sand, the invasion collapses under physics, logistics, and Britain's ability to strike from below the waves, above the clouds, and across the sea simultaneously. This is why no country on Earth has ever conquered Britain through a cross-channel landing. And it's why no country alive today, not even a superpower, can change that. Every invasion of Britain begins with the same mistake: believing the English Channel is just water. It isn't. It's a 34-kilometer execution zone that has drowned fleets, snapped masts, capsized troop barges, and shredded the plans of the strongest armies Europe ever produced. People imagine the Channel as a calm strip of blue separating Britain from France. That's geography on a map. The real Channel is a violent, shifting, unstable corridor shaped by 3 converging seas, colliding tidal systems, and microstorms that form and vanish so fast, satellite images struggle to predict them. On calm days, the water looks harmless. On operational days, it's a weapon. A fleet can launch under clear skies and find itself fighting a horizontal hurricane before reaching the halfway point. And landing craft, the core of any invasion, are the vessels least capable of surviving these shifts. Flat-bottomed hulls slam into erratic waves, electronics fail under sudden spray bursts, and even a mild swell is enough to flip or flood them. This is the same physics that wrecked the Armada, stalled Napoleon, and made Hitler's generals admit Sea Lion was not a military operation, but a mass suicide plan. Below the surface is worse. Fast currents ripping vessels off course, sandbanks that shift monthly, and shallow choke points where any formation collapses into chaos. Modern navigation helps, but it cannot change the fact that amphibious ships must approach slowly, predictably, and within range of every weapon Britain can bring to bear. Invasion fleets don't die on the beach, they die before the beach. The Channel destroys fleets, but anything that survives faces something far worse.
So,
Britain never built its power.
is it uncommon for boats to use the English Channel at all? Like, don't they use that for like trade and stuff like that? Obviously, exporting or importing stuff through boat is different than trying to invade somewhere. But wouldn't they run into the same issues? Is it not like a commonly used waterway?
Power on armies. It didn't need to. An island with hostile waters only needs one doctrine to stay alive: destroy anything that tries to cross them. For 500 years, the Royal Navy was engineered around a single strategic mission: erase invasion fleets before they reach shallow water. Not defeat them at sea, not chase them, eliminate them. This is why Britain poured resources into ships instead of massive land forces. A single navy, positioned correctly, can stop 100,000 soldiers from ever touching sand. An army can only fight what lands. A navy prevents it from happening at all. Since the Tudor era, Britain designed coastal kill zones, stretches of sea where wind, tide, geography, and artillery overlap to turn the channel into a firing corridor. Confined water multiplies defender firepower. Enemies have one approach route, predictable timing, and no space to maneuver. Britain has every advantage: range, angles, concealment, and the ability to concentrate force at a single choke point. In the missile era, this doctrine became lethal. A modern invasion fleet must survive. Anti-ship missiles that outrange escorts frigates built specifically to fight in tight waters. Hunter-killer submarines stalking from below maritime patrol aircraft tracking everything above. And the closer an invader gets to British shores, the deadlier the firepower becomes. The doctrine never changed. The technology just made it absolute. Even if an enemy could somehow neutralize the Royal Navy, the real problem begins when they face the math of amphibious warfare. If you're enjoying this deep dive, please like the video and consider subscribing to our channel. Your support helps us bring more global insights. Now, back to the video. Every invasion plan collapses the moment you run the numbers. An army isn't defeated by bravery or strategy, it's defeated by logistics, and amphibious logistics are the most unforgiving on Earth. A single landing division needs over 400,000 pounds of supplies every day just to stay alive. That means fuel, ammunition, food, spare parts, medical gear, all of it shipped across the most monitored waterway in the world. To maintain even a modest foothold, an invader must run a non-stop convoy of slow transports and vulnerable landing craft. And these aren't warships, they're steel boxes that move at walking speed. Modern warfare turns them into target practice. Missile batteries can obliterate them from over the horizon. Drones track every movement. Precision radar maps every vessel. Artillery can range predictable approach lanes with mathematical accuracy. And the closer these ships crawl toward the coast, the worse it gets. Shallow water forces transports into narrow, slow-moving channels where they cannot maneuver or hide. This is where landing craft die, trapped, exposed, and unable to disperse. One missile strike doesn't sink a ship, it blocks the route behind it, turning the rest of the convoy into a stationary, burning traffic jam. No army can fight its way off a beach when its supplies are sinking offshore. But even if a miracle allowed an enemy to land, geography crushes them again. On a map, the coastline looks long and inviting. In reality, over 90% of it is unusable for a large-scale amphibious assault. The few beaches capable of handling troops, armor, and supply vehicles are clustered into predictable bottlenecks: Kent, Sussex, parts of East Anglia, and a handful along the southwest. Every one of these zones has been studied, fortified, and wargamed for centuries. There are no surprises left for an invader to exploit. And those usable beaches come with their own traps. Much of southern England is lined with cliffs that turn landing zones into kill boxes. Troops hitting the sand must fight uphill against defenders who can fire from elevated positions, drop artillery onto fixed routes, and watch every movement from miles away. The invasion force becomes a slow-moving silhouette against a white chalk backdrop visible long before it can organize. And where cliffs don't dominate, marshland does. Large stretches of the British coast transform into soft mud during tidal shifts. Tanks sink, trucks stall, even infantry struggles to move at speed. The enemy doesn't advance as it crawls. And every minute spent fighting the terrain is a minute the defenders use to bring artillery, air power, and mechanized units to the landing site. Also, Britain's tidal range is enormous, among the highest in Europe. At low tide, landing craft can be stranded hundreds of meters from the shore, forcing soldiers to slog across open mudflats under fire. At high tide, those same mudflats vanish, turning safe zones into deep, chaotic surf. An invader must time its arrival perfectly, in a place where timing perfection is physically impossible. If troops somehow establish a foothold, Britain still holds the decisive edge: interior mobility. The island's road and rail networks allow defenders to redirect entire brigades faster than any invading force can push inland. Britain doesn't need a huge standing army on the beach. It needs a mobile one in the heartland. The invaders fight the terrain. The defenders fight on highways. The result is always the same: landing slow, choke, and collapse, while British reinforcements arrive faster than the invaders can unload their own supplies. Because viable landing zones are so rare, invaders have no freedom to scatter forces or fake alternate landings. Britain knows precisely where an enemy must come ashore, and it has centuries of doctrine, fortifications, and contingency plans focused on those exact coordinates. Geography doesn't just protect Britain, it funnels the enemy into pre-designed killing grounds. Even geography would be survivable if modern defense systems didn't make landing suicidal. Britain can mine its coastal approaches in hours. Modern sea mines don't float in neat rows like in old war films. They hide deep, track acoustic signatures, and detonate under optimal points of the hull. Any landing craft approaching Britain must crawl into range of anti-ship.
I guess if you were doing shipping in that road, even though that it's still difficult to cross, you don't have to have that same timing. And you're coming into a port. It's not like you're pulling up, on the shore where it's rocky cliffs and you're, covertly trying to get through. It's they know you're coming, but still, like, do they have like a lot of shipwrecks and stuff in that area? I just don't know a lot about it. I know, like, obviously, I know like the Bermuda Triangle is like a place that, and I don't even know of anything recently. It's something I more or less heard about as a kid, that they would have issues with the radar and shipwrecks, but I didn't know that the British Channel was so difficult to cross and had a bunch of the same issues.
Ship missiles with pinpoint accuracy, mobile launchers that relocate after firing, radar systems designed specifically for cluttered coastal waters. One missile strike doesn't have to destroy the ship. It only has to disable it, because a disabled vessel becomes an obstacle that breaks the entire landing sequence. Transport ships move slowly. Fighter jets do not. Once an invasion fleet is detected, RAF squadrons from bases across southern England can be airborne within minutes, guided by a radar network that blankets the channel. The age of surprise landings is over. Even before an invasion fleet reaches the channel, Britain's drones, satellites, and maritime patrol aircraft would track every heading, every speed change, every formation shift. Transport ships cannot scatter or hide. Their size, noise, and predictable speed make them the easiest battlefield signatures to identify. If any enemy aircraft attempt to protect the landing fleet, they enter an airspace packed with SAM systems, early warning radars, interceptor aircraft, electronic warfare platforms. The defender doesn't just outgun the attacker. It outdetects, outcoordinates, and outreacts. In modern warfare, Landing craft don't approach the beach. They never get close enough to see it. And yet, all of this is still conventional warfare. Britain's true shield is something else entirely. Every discussion about invading Britain hits the same immovable wall. An invasion isn't just a military act, it's an existential threat. And existential threats trigger Britain's final doctrine: nuclear retaliation. At any given moment, one of Britain's ballistic missile submarines, Vanguard now, Dreadnought soon, is hidden somewhere in the world's oceans. It carries Trident missiles designed to survive a first strike and guarantee a second one. No adversary knows where it is. No satellite can track it reliably. No fleet can hunt it without exposing itself. This is the continuous at-sea deterrent, a system built on one principle. If Britain is threatened with destruction, someone pays.
Really? So it's just always out somewhere? That's wild. I wonder how many countries do that. I mean, obviously not all countries have the nuclear capabilities. Has Britain ever nuked somewhere? I need to find that out. Huh. Huh. Something to figure out.
With cities. A conventional attack on a military base is one thing. An amphibious landing on British soil is entirely different. It signals the intent to conquer, decapitate, or collapse the state. In nuclear doctrine, that is the definition of an existential threat. Britain's policy is simple. If the state's survival is in question, nuclear weapons are authorized. No warnings, no negotiations, no last chances. A landing fleet isn't just an enemy force. It is a declaration that the attacker is ready to destroy the United Kingdom as a functioning country. That line is not somewhere Britain might retaliate. That is the line where Britain will retaliate. Nuclear deterrence doesn't rely on the attacker believing Britain is stronger. It relies on the attacker believing Britain will pull the trigger. And every British Prime Minister has reinforced the same reality. The nuclear arsenal exists to stop invasion, not to win wars. A superpower could roll the dice against Britain's Navy or Air Force or coastline. But gambling against a guaranteed second strike capability is suicidal. One miscalculation means losing not a fleet, but entire cities. Even if an enemy launched a surprise attack, knocked out air bases, and destroyed command centers, the submarines survive. That is their design. Silent, mobile, undetectable. A second strike-capable submarine is the ultimate insurance policy. You can bomb Britain's ports, you can cripple its infrastructure, but you cannot stop the missile submarine already sitting in the Atlantic with its firing doors closed. An invasion force pointing itself at Britain isn't just challenging a military, it's challenging a nuclear state that keeps one finger permanently on the last switch. But nuclear deterrence isn't Britain's only modern shield. There's another layer, buried underwater. Britain's most powerful defenses aren't the ones anyone can see. They're the systems no invader plans for, because most of them aren't publicly acknowledged at all. If the Royal Navy is the sword, Britain's underwater surveillance architecture is the tripwire, a network of sensors, hydrophones, and detection arrays that make it almost impossible for a hostile fleet or submarine to approach undetected. The public knows very little about Britain's underwater listening systems, but what is known is enough. Acoustic arrays in the North Atlantic and Channel detect even the quietest submarine movements. These sensors track propeller signatures, hull harmonics, pressure disturbances, flow noise. Every modern submarine has a unique acoustic fingerprint. Britain collects those fingerprints. If an enemy vessel tries to sneak toward British waters, it doesn't slip through gaps. It enters a mapped acoustic cage. 3 maritime bottlenecks define Britain's security perimeter. The Strait.
That's pretty interesting to know, because you wouldn't think, I guess, if anybody's gets into the ocean or, that goes underwater, you don't think about things making a ton of noise. Even when you think about whales or anything making noise, it's very echoey and kind of drowned out. But technology is just is amazing to me. What they do with stuff now. Some of it's very scary, but obviously you could see the need for something like this. It's amazing. of what they could do.
Of Dover. The English Channel approaches the Guyot Gap, Greenland, Iceland, UK. These are not passive waterways, they are monitored, layered kill funnels. The Guyot Gap in particular is the reason no foreign submarine reaches the Atlantic without NATO knowing. Britain's patrol aircraft, underwater sensors, and hunter-killer submarines treat the region as a gate. Anyone who crosses it is detected, classified, and tagged. A stealthy approach is fantasy. Britain's detection begins long before an enemy fleet reaches the channel. Also, there are submarine detection systems that Britain does not publicly discuss, but their existence is obvious from how the Royal Navy behaves. These include buried arrays on seabeds, passive sonar farms near key ports, magnetic anomaly fields, fusion systems combining sonar plus satellite plus signals intel. This is a country that built nuclear submarines capable of tracking enemy boats quietly for weeks. It is not operating blind around its own coastline. Everything ties into one reality. Any invasion force is identified hours, if not days, before it reaches British waters. Satellites track fleets leaving port. Signals intelligence monitors communications. Undersea sensors detect hull movement. Patrol aircraft confirm signatures. Submarines intercept from below. An invading fleet never arrives unexpectedly. It arrives pre-registered, pre-measured, and pre-targeted. Britain does not wait for enemies to knock on the door. It hears them long before they step onto the porch. Add all this together, and history becomes unavoidable.
Yeah, that's wild. Technology, man, it's crazy.
History doesn't repeat. It exposes patterns, and every empire that tried to cross the channel ran into the same set of forces that still exist today. People say storms destroyed the Armada. Not quite. The real problem was that the channel's weather amplified every Spanish weakness: rigid formations, slow turning radiuses, and ships designed for open ocean battles, not knife fight waters. The Armada wasn't defeated by wind. It was defeated by a battlefield that punished its design. Napoleon didn't cancel the invasion because he feared the Royal Navy's guns. He canceled it because the math made the operation suicidal. His flat-bottom barges could barely cross a calm river, let alone one of the world's most volatile straits. He needed naval supremacy for weeks. He couldn't guarantee it for hours. The invasion died the moment he realized the channel couldn't be bullied. The Sea Lion wasn't abandoned because of moral hesitation or tactical errors. Germany needed three conditions: air supremacy, naval dominance, and coastal control. And it couldn't achieve any of them simultaneously.
Yeah.
The Luftwaffe couldn't kill the RAF. The Kriegsmarine couldn't face the Royal Navy. The Channel defenses couldn't be suppressed. Germany controlled a continent, but the Channel exposed its limits. The invasion never reached the beach because the barriers weren't just military, they were physical, environmental, and logistical. And in the modern era, these obstacles haven't weakened. They've multiplied. An enemy can't simply cross the Channel. It must win every domain at once, destroy the Royal Navy, neutralize the RAF, beat nuclear deterrent thresholds, achieve air supremacy, dominate the channel, defeat coastal defenses, land forces, supply forces, expand the beachhead, push inland faster than British reinforcements. This sequence has never been achieved, not once, not by the most powerful empires on Earth, not by modern superpowers with satellites, drones, and precision weapons. And today, the requirements aren't merely difficult, they are mutually exclusive. Britain isn't protected by luck. It's protected by physics, geography, and a defense architecture designed to break invasions before they begin. No fleet survives the channel. No landing force defeats the Navy. No army outruns Britain's reinforcement speed. And no adversary crosses the nuclear line and walks away. This isn't difficult. This is unworkable. So how do you invade a country where every path to the beach is a trap, and every step after that is worse? And if history, technology, and raw logistics all point to the same answer, is Britain the closest thing modern warfare has to an unconquerable state? If you found this analysis...
That's a good video. That definitely wasn't where I thought it was going to go. I didn't know that it was going to kind of be like more about the English Channel, not being able to pass that more than just the British military, although obviously that's a large part of it. But really good video. Yeah. I I yeah, I don't know how you I mean, you have to be able to get your fleet, and you need obviously more than one boat to get past it. And if you want to try to go as quickly as you can, which isn't going to help you get through those waters, then you have the nuclear submarine going around that you don't know where that is. And then you have where they can hear you if you're in a submarine under. They know historically the best places to land, and they're already watching them. And then if you manage to actually get past all of that, which is like impossible, then you have to like immediately switch gears and be able to get off the boat and fight on land and have enough of you there at the same time before the English army gets there to stop you, and they already know you're there. So yeah, it's pretty much impossible. Don't mess with Britain. I think that's the moral of the story there. Really good video, really good suggestion. I hope you all liked it as much as I did. Don't forget to hit the like button, share, subscribe, hype. Go check out Patreon, and yeah, have an awesome day, guys. Thanks for watching with me.